Hi, welcome back to our video series about how to create a custom LMS system with Payload. My name is Joshua, and in this video we are going to actually participate in a course. The last video we dropped off at creating a course detail page. Now in this course detail page we now want to have a button with which we can actually participate in a course. This button is then supposed to create a participation object that saves the progress of a current user in a specific course. And with this participation object, we'll then be able to basically record all the course participations of a certain user or of all users. Now, we want to create a separate page for basically every participation object that is in our database. And for this, we're gonna go into here and in parallel to courses, we are going to create a new page or a new folder, which is participation. Let me write this again. Participation slash participation ID. Participation ID, did I spell it correctly? Okay. And in here, we are basically going to do a very similar thing to the last time. We're going to create a page, new file, page.tsx. And in this file, we're going to export default async function. We need an async to export default async function participation page with their participation ID as a string, which is correct. And in here, let's initiate payload really quick. I'm gonna jump over it as we've done it quite a lot. Okay, second, we want to get the participation ID, but we need to await the params. And after this, of course, let's get the user. Const user equals await get user. Let's import this. So after this, we can get the participation object from the database. So try const res, which is of type participation, equals await payload dot also find by ID. From the participations collection with the ID, participation ID, we don't override the access and we pass the user. Then we're gonna assign our participation to participations. So let participation, which can also be null. We need to import participation, of course. Participation from the payload types that are generated for us. And assign it here. What is going on here? The name. Wait, where are we? I just jumped. The name of the collection is actually participation, not participations. And yes, we assigned it. If something goes wrong, catch error. We are gonna return a not found. I leave it to you. Not found. I leave it to you to create a separate not found page if a course participation is not found here. Basically, also if it's empty, we're also gonna return a not found, and we are basically ready to display the course. Now, we are only gonna display something very rudimentary because that is in some of the next videos we're actually gonna display the individual course modules and have a user work through them. So for now, at this point, we are simply gonna return the title of the course. So in participation, there's a course and it has a title. Because as you remember previously, the course title or the participation has a relationship to course and a user. Now we actually have our course participation page under which we'll display the course later, but we now need a way to actually link to this and create a course participation. For this purpose, we are going to create a custom button, which is going to be shown on the course overview page and creates a participation object and then links, or no, then sends the user to the course or to the specific course participation. For this, under course ID, we are going to create a folder for components, and in this components folder, we're going to create a custom component, start course button.tsx, which then exports export default function start course button, which also takes a course ID of type string. Then this course button has multiple states. Status, set status, so let's use state. Set status equals use state. We need to import it, and we're gonna assign a type. So we're gonna have idle and loading and error. We don't need a success state, because if we're going to have a success state, then we're just going to reroute the user anyway. So, and yes, of course, it starts out as idle. Let's also get a state for an error message. Set error. This is fine. And yeah, let's start working on the course button itself. We are going to have a function, async function handle start course. This is going to have a mouse event, so mouse event from HTML button element, and in here function, not function, function, and the error should wait. What happened? So, and yes, the error should disappear. Why does this give an error? We want to use the mouse event from React. So in here, we're gonna also import mouse event, and yes, this fixes the error. Next, we are going to create the UI for this. So return, and we create a div, and in this div we're going to give it a margin on the top, class name equals empty6, and in here we're going to create a button. And our button does have an on click. It's gonna handle the start course. It can be disabled, or it is disabled if it is loading. For that, we're gonna define it as loading. Const is loading if the status is loading. So in here, we're gonna have disabled when it's loading. Yes, perfect. And of course, a class name. Our button is going to be relative inline flex items center gap 2. We have a p padding on the x-axis of 6 and a padding on the y-axis of 3. We are going to use a semi-bold font semi-bold. It is rounded. It has a transition and duration of 300, duration 300, and of course is in out. And then if the button has an error, is error, that's also, we're gonna check this here, const is error. Actually we need to assign, cannot just use a string, we need to use a template string. Why does this give an error? We're closing it 2 times, of course. And what is happening? Class name. Yes. Don't forget the curly braces. Curly braces around template string. And let's move this to a new line. If is error, we are gonna have a BG background of red 600, text white, and if not, it's gonna be BG teal 500, text white, and of course on hover, let's do 600. And after that, we want to also define a color for disabled. Opacity 50, so we have half the opacity that's normally, and of course cursor not allowed. Now we also want to have the state of the button reflected by the icon. So in here we're gonna create a div class name absolute. This is gonna contain the icon. It is left units from the 4 units from the left side. It has top 1.5 and translate, so it's gonna be centered vertically. And let's close this. In here we're gonna check is loading. If it is loading, we're going to return a loading icon. So also from React icons we get the AI outline loading 3D quarters. This is correct. It's gonna have the class name of animate spin and text XL. This is correct. If it is not loading, we check if it is error. Is error. And if it is error, we're going to return and also a hero icon, HI exclamation circle, AI exclamation circle, and basically it also just has a class name of XL, class name text XL. Let's close this. And the last case, let's not get carried out. Let's not get overwhelmed by the AI. Here we have HI play. So we have a play button also of the size XL. And now we also want a text. And the text is gonna be class name and PL6 start course. And last but not least, below the button, if we have an error, we want to display the error. Is error. And we have a paragraph tag with class name equals empty2, text XSM, text red 400, with a flex layout, items are centered, we have a gap of 2, this is correct. We're gonna use again the exclamation circle and then display the error. I believe it's error, yes, error. And let's use the exclamation circle. I think we have a faulty or like an unused import here. Let's get rid of that as well. Close the paragraph tag. And we are done with the layout. Now the important thing is what happens when we click on handle start course. And what we want to do is to create a course participation. For the course participation, we are going to create a custom server action. This is going to be located here in the authenticated actions. Let's create a new file. The file is going to be participate.ts, and in here we're gonna export async function participate, and the participate also, yes, takes a course ID of type string. We're gonna have use server here, use server, and of course I'm gonna jump over it. Let's get the user and the payload object. Let's just do this and remove this for now. Participate. No, we don't want to get a participation, we want to create a participation. Let's import this. Get payload, get user. Let's import the config promise. And yeah, basically we just need to talk to payload now and create the participation. Also, let's check if we actually have a user, because if we don't have a user, we want to throw an error. And next, let's try to create the object. Try create. We have const created participation. It's await payload.create. That's correct. We're gonna have the collection participation, and we have the data of course ID. User is no. Yes, user. User is not user here. It's customer.user.id, and the progress is going to be 0. Perfect, that works. Also, we have override access false and user. Let's close this, and if everything worked out, we should return a created participant. If we have an error, let's throw an error and return null. No, actually don't need to return anything. Okay, perfect. We have our we have our participate server action. We go back to the button, and in our handle start course, we're gonna now call this function. First, we're gonna create. We are going to set status on loading and set the errors on null. We're gonna prevent the defaults. We're gonna try to call our server action, and if the server action is successful, it's gonna return a participation. So const participation of type participation await participate, and here we have our server action. It takes our course ID, of which we gave to the course start course button. And why is this giving an error? It's not a silent parameter. Course ID string. Course ID. What do we have here? Course ID is also string. Let me figure this out. Actually very easy. We have to wrap it into an object. Now, if we don't have any participation that resulted of this, we obviously have an error, and we just throw the error. If we have it, if we have the participation, then we can, we have to use the router to reroute the user, in that case, to the course participation. So let's use const router equals use router. Let's also import this. And here we have router.push, and we can actually use this dashboard participation. Here we have participation and the participation ID. If we catch the error, we're gonna set the status and error, and we're gonna display the error message that for some reason it was not possible to participate in the course for now. Okay, and with this, we should be able to save all of it. And let's go to the course detail view and actually add the button. Below the curriculum, we're going to add the start course button. It has a course ID of course.id, and that should be it for now. Let's go to our course. Oh, let's try to reload it. Maybe it does. No, we have here used router server. You have a server component that imports next router and use navigation. Wait, what did we do? Of course, we should specify that this is a client component. It's a client button. Use client. Let's save it again. Let's go to the page and see what is happening. We actually get another error that next router was not mounted. This is because we import this from navigation and not from router. So let's try again. And as we see, it loaded the page again, and we have a start course button. So as a last thing for this video, I would like to actually verify that we can create the course. So let's click on the button and wait. And we get correctly rerouted to our participation, and the name of the course is being shown. Now, we don't only want to participate in courses or create new participations, we actually also want to resume courses. And this we are going to do in the next video.